Alright, today's Thursday thoughts question we're going to cover off today was one I got asked about: how long do I put aside for prepping my meals for the week, or how long does it take me? For me personally, usually about an hour on a Sunday. I'll prep my lunches for the week because that's probably the meal that, if I don't have something for, I'm going to struggle to be able to not have to grab something that would be subpar nutritionally for me. But I've also worked out a system where each night before, when I get home, I do prep breakfast that I bring into work with me. I obviously start work quite early. We kick off here at 5:30, so I'm up at 4. So if I don't have breakfast prepared, again, it's going to mean that I've got to go buy something rather than have something prepped, which is good for me. So, I don't mind personally. I don't mind eating the same thing day in, day out. I don't mind it being a bit bland, because for me, I position especially breakfast and lunch in my mind is positioned more as fuel rather than food. Now, everybody's very, very different when it comes to nutrition, and everybody's very, very different when it comes to their time allocation that they can put towards that. Now, we spoke last week about reasons versus excuses. You need to learn to make do with the time that you've got when it comes to meal prep and getting yourself ready for the week. The biggest thing that it all boils down to is preparation, and it boils down to you doing the research and gaining the tools needed to work with whatever constraints you have around your nutrition, so that you can get the best food intake you can over the course of the week. Some common things that people will do, if you run a fairly standard work day, like the 9 to 5 type deal, and you've always got a little bit more time to prep dinner, cook a nice dinner and just cook extra so that you can take that for lunch the next day. Work out, for me, what I've done through a little bit of trial and error, I've worked out what things I struggle with the most if I don't do them, so what meals, and then I've worked out kind of a system for myself where I've got those things prepped and ready to go when I need them. So, from the point of view of breakfast, I have an oat bowl that I make up the night before, which is fairly simple. Just has some oats, some shredded coconut, some chia seeds, and some blueberries in there. I do that with a bit of water, and that way I can throw that in the microwave, heat it up real quick, throw some almond butter in with there, and that's my breakfast every morning. And then things like, sweet potato and that type of deal I'll have during the day. I'll always make myself a bit of a green shake with some spinach and some kale, a banana and a bit of coconut water, and that's kind of my post-workout. Personally, I haven't taken supplements for quite a while. I take some vitamins like some turmeric and some magnesium, some vitamin D, but from the point of view of supplements, especially protein supplements, I haven't really done that in quite a while. But that's me. That works for me, and what works for me isn't necessarily going to work for you. Your dietary requirements are different. If you need to get nailed down onto what it is you actually need for your body, then go and see a dietitian, or go and see a nutritionist, because they'll be able to do things like run blood work and then give you the best plan moving forward, especially if you are in a group where you've got an autoimmune disease. You need to do that. Don't just take what you get off the internet as gospel. Then from there, if you're a healthy individual and you've got nothing wrong, sometimes it's just a little bit of trial and error, finding what works. For me, this has been almost a 10-year process working through to something that I've now got this system in place. Now, some of you aren't going to be geared in that way where you're just happy to eat the same thing day in, day out. You know, you might need variety in order to keep yourself interested and keep yourself on track from the point of view of what you're eating. So if that's you, you're going to need to allocate more preparation time because you're going to need to cook a lot more. Excuse me. So from the point of view of how much time I spend on nutritional prep over the course of the week, it's probably about 2 hours, so it's not a whole lot of time. You're going to be different. Everybody's different. The big takeaway from this, and the big thing I want you to do, is you need to do the research, you need to do the work, you need to have a plan, and by doing that, you can formulate a plan for yourself given the appropriate information of what you need and how you need to get there. Like everything else, when it comes to your training and it comes to your nutrition, eat and train for your goals. Okay? You need to make sure you do that. Eat as healthy as possible. That will also have a carryover if you're training for performance. But there are certain things in there that'll need to be addressed based off your training volume, etc., etc. That is it for this week. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye.